It is part of the charm.
It is a new podcast. So.
It's a new podcast. We are just now trying to get our sea legs in actually how we record the podcast, which is called
Inherently Human.
Inherently Human.
Oh, fuck, that was a pen.
And something happened.
I found a shiny thing on the table, and it turned out to be the end of a pen, and so now there's ink on my fingers.
I'm sorry. A little disaster even as we start the show.
Right
By
away.
the way, we
Right
are
off the bat.
recording, and we have guests today. I know on another podcast I mentioned that Haley might show up sometime, and we have talked about Willis, although that podcast never saw the light of day.
That one, yeah.
We scrapped that one. But both of you guys have been mentioned while we're in process of recording this. My name is Jim Newman.
I'm Aiden DeBoard.
And
I'm Willis Holman.
There's one.
And I'm Haley Sage.
Yes. And
Not practice, if you couldn't tell.
what these guys have in common, other than the fact that they are friends, is that they all work at the Portland State University Rec Center pool. And they're all lifeguards.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Haley's a bit indisposed right now, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Purple.
Well,
Who can't live?
Haley had an accident at poolside, which seems like it was really horrendous. You want to get a little bit closer to the microphone and sort of narrate what happened to you?
Oh gosh.
step by step,
It's not that exciting of a story.
paint us a picture exactly
We
what
want
happened.
a word picture. That's what podcast. Somebody's riding their bike around town and they have their headset on or their earphones. They want to know about humanity. That's what this whole podcast is about.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff. Yeah.
Inherently human, there's going to be pain, right? So I want you to
Yes.
tell this so vividly that I hurt.
I want to feel
Now
your
that you-
broken arm
Yeah.
in my arm.
Oh man,
You guys are
you
really
put the
putting me on the
pressure
spot.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on,
So-
we have faith.
It was early in the morning. I was opening at the pool.
About 6 or so.
It was on a Saturday.
Oh,
So
later
it was
than
like 8,
7.
7 something. Yeah.
Okay, 7 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning.
I just finally woke up. And
Because of the accident.
no.
Where was the sun in the sky, Haley?
What was the position of the moon?
The
in the sky?
trajectory of the sun. Yeah, no, it was
What
like.
constellation was it under?
Is this at all important or relevant? No.
Well,
I'm gonna tell my story. You guys just.
Taking charge of the
You guys
podcast.
all have like your say that you need to.
yeah,
No.
yeah, and,
All right,
and you're
all
right,
right,
and
all
you're
right.
right. You can tell the story.
So I was we have to put tarps on. No, we have to take the tarps off. Yeah, we were taking the tarps off, and I was walking around the corner of the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a little puddle of water.
Yes.
And there's water everywhere at
It's
the
a
pool. It's unavoidable. It's just gonna happen.
And the tarp is this huge layer of fabric of some sort that
Yeah.
covers the entire surface of the pool at night. Is that to keep the temperature up slightly to avoid losing heat? Anyway, that's not relevant, but there is a cover.
We'll come back to
That's
it.
just the chore I was
removing it.
doing.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
chore
just a
you're
little bit
doing.
of detail.
Sorry I interrupted.
It's the job description.
Yes. But anyway, I walked over this puddle, and I was making a turn. So I wasn't just like walking quickly. I was also turning. I think that's the reason why I slipped somehow. But I my foot just lost traction, so I fell backwards.
You fell backwards.
Yes. And I
Was it
went-
like a Charlie Brown trying to kick the football?
It was
falling
exactly like
backward?
that. That's exactly what it looked like. And to avoid hitting my head and getting a concussion or, dying
Yeah.
or something, I reached out to break my fall. And that's when I landed on my palm, but there was so much force that it all went to my elbow. And so it created it caused a compression fracture, which is just usually it shatters, so I'm really lucky it didn't shatter. But yeah, it broke, and I heard it snap.
You heard it.
So
I don't.
you
Wow.
said you wanted to feel pain. So
I know, and
you're
now I
welcome.
do.
And he is. You
But it's more
have
of like an
succeeded.
emotional pain right now.
Well, empathy. You've engendered empathy in your audience here.
Yes, and I mean, it wasn't really painful necessarily. The unpleasantness of the breaking wasn't strictly from the pain, because I mean, I did feel it. It wasn't that bad. It was more like something felt very wrong with my arm. So when you break something just feels off, and the psychological distress that causes is where it really sucks.
Yes.
So yeah, the
shock
pain
of
was
it all.
the worst. It's not that bad.
So the image I have in my mind is that literally your legs flew out from under you, and
Yeah.
that meant that you had something in the neighborhood of 3.5 feet or so to fall. I don't know exactly what the geometry of that kind of fall is,
Geometry?
but I mean,
Is that physics?
well, I mean,
Geometry.
just where your feet were, that's about 3 feet, right? And now they're no longer sustaining you and you're in the air. I'm just trying to get a visual.
How
Why
much?
did-
Oh, yep.
Why didn't you record it, Haley, so we can psychoanalyze your fall?
Your fall,
here?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't come prepared that day with equipment for recording because I didn't know I was gonna break my arm. But
We have seen no proof of this break, so as far as we're aware, she's
I
just trying
have
to get out of work.
X-rays.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I have X-rays.
Yeah, we're gonna accept.
I also have a doctor's note. Would you like to see all the documentation?
No,
I don't, because
the-
we've gone through enough already.
Because you guys just need to believe me.
Exactly. And so, did you go ahead that day with your lifeguarding
I can answer that.
time?
She did
Yes.
not, because I came in that morning.
I felt so bad.
I was woken up by a phone call,
Hmm.
and I came in about 20 minutes later to replace her.
I hate this part of the story.
Wow. And you went straight to the doctor then, huh?
Yeah, I had to walk there with my sling. Thankfully, we found the sling.
Yes.
Because
We-
I was
we-
walking downtown. I didn't want to be wearing a shirt around my arm.
We attempted at first to use your flannel, I believe.
Yeah.
Some kind of flannel to
looked
sling her arm, and I was like, oh, I can do it. I totally know how. Turns out I don't. I don't know how.
How do you not know how? It's pretty easy.
With a shirt?
Yeah, I've done it.
Okay,
You
Gene.
did it fine. It was,
All right, Mr.
works.
Medic, walk us through how to make a sling out of a shirt.
All right, so you have the person grip their elbow,
Okay.
but you wrap first one end of the shirt around, so you can either put it in just wrap the shirt around normal so that both sleeves are hanging out, or you can actually open the shirt up depending on the type of shirt and put it so that the head hole is around the elbow, and then you just take both the sleeves and you can tie it. One around the back, one around the front, and then you do it.
I guess I have the idea, but that is not what you did. Whatever
No.
you did.
We instead found a box full of splints and slings and used that actual medicine.
So, I'm just wondering, Haley still has some of her story to tell, and I'm just
really?
wondering how you've lived your life with this disability that, well, is pretty profound. I mean, you have difficulty using that arm now, don't you? In some
mean,
ways.
Yeah, at this point, I can lift things with it. I can do most things. However, if I move it in a very specific way, I twist it in a certain way, I'll tweak it and it'll hurt really, really bad. But I can use it for most things now. But before, it was pretty limiting. I didn't realize how frustrating it would be.
Yeah.
I got really...
Was this your first time breaking a bone, or?
No, I had broken my ankle before, but that was fine because I just put a boot on it, got some crutches, and I just continued working.
Moved
it along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is that the end of the podcast? Because
Wow.
Yeah, 10 minutes in. Thanks for listening, everybody.
No.
Don't break
No,
bones.
no.
Drink your milk. No. Jim, in your time, in your 72 years,
yeah.
through the Army and everything, what has been your experience with injuries?
Oh man, we don't. It's such a litany of horrible events that No. I had. Well, I just think they accrue over time. I mean, if you live your life, if you try to have an exciting time, and I had a great job working for Oregon Public Broadcasting, and we hiked all over Oregon. I mean, mountain ranges and deserts and just landscapes like I'd never seen before. And what happened is I sort of wore my body out, so I've had both of my hips replaced. I've had both rotator cuffs sewn up. I've had 2 back surgeries. It just goes on and on and on. So I've had a lot of stuff, but I think that's kind of par for the course. Human bodies wear out, so.
Is that what we have to look forward to?
Well, I mean, what you also have, of course, to look forward to is the excitement of, doing cool stuff, I guess. One thing that has drawn us all together is that we have all 4 of us talked poolside about various things, and I was talking to Willis about his avocation, and I guess you all know this, that he's a political science major, but he also
he never shuts up about it.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, no, it's something I talk about a lot.
He
It's
wants
the
to get
only
into
thing.
politics.
Like why we don't talk.
Oh, ouch.
Go ahead.
Continue.
Well,
We got to shit on him a little bit. Keep him
Sure.
in mind.
yeah, but I was intrigued about the idea of someone actually running for election at a certain point in his life. That's one thing he wants to do.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure when yet, but yeah, that's my general plan for the future is run for some kind of office. Thinking Congress probably later. I think in a few years I could probably run for the Oregon House seat that Earl Blumenauer currently holds.
Wow.
Yeah,
What's the minimum age?
25.
Okay.
25 for House, 30 for Senate, 35 for President. And then every other one just doesn't really have an age
Okay.
limit.
Do you consciously think about that future when you live your life? I mean, are you careful not to be drunk in public? Or are you nicer to people than you would be otherwise? I mean, I'm wondering.
It really depends on the. Well, yeah, Aiden can attest for some of this. It really does depend on the situation. If I'm, out in the world doing
Stuff and things.
stuff, well, depends on what I'm out in the world doing. Like, there have definitely been times Aiden and I have taken, like, drunken walks through the streets of Portland.
we
and
have.
maybe it's bad having that on camera or on recording later, but
Right.
whatever. We swore in Brett Kavanaugh, but anyway, typical. Gotta make those pop culture references. But anyway,
Sure, exactly. Keep it current.
keep it current. But
Now we've just dated ourselves.
yeah, now we've just dated ourselves. Like, but anyway, then if I'm out networking or I'm out at like a student leadership event or anything like that, or I've gone to like the mayor's office when I worked for the student or the school newspaper for a while and stuff. I'm pretty sure to keep my composure and all of that. Then I just kind of know the situation and know when I need to be professional and all of that.
Yeah. So you'd call yourself an extrovert then? Are you somebody who?
I'd call myself an extrovert. I like talking to people, meeting new people, and hearing their stories and stuff. Not to, say that I don't like, laying in my bed at home in the evening and watching cartoons or something like that, but...
But what got you into doing this? What was the initial drive?
It's kind of hard to really put a date on. So when I was in high school still, I really wanted to be into computer science.
Okay.
Actually,
Really?
I'd started out my freshman year of high school thinking I was going to go to Oregon Institute of Technology for a computer programming degree, because my family had always told me that you want to find that stable job that pays a good amount of money so that you can buy a house later. XYZ steps and. Jobs that are unstable, like musician or politician or actor, things I was really into, they're just better as hobbies and maybe not as future careers. And so that was kind of the mindset I had for a while, and computers intrigued me and stuff, so that was, generally what I was doing. until I realized, I really got into programming classes around my junior year and realized programming sucks. Like, I would be sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna make a text-based game, and it'd take me like 9.5 hours of like programming and drinking Red Bull and stuff, and I'd be like, alright, let's play it, and then there's like a bug. And I'm like, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, and so I was like, alright, time to rethink my life. I'm not gonna be, sad sitting there like I hate my job for the rest of my life. So I rethought about it, and that was right during the 2016 presidential election, and I don't know, I got really intrigued by that, and just in all of my classes, I went to like Bernie rallies and all of that, and campaigned for him in my small town of Coos Bay, which was fun sometimes.
Dangerous.
And dangerous sometimes. Like, I had a bumper sticker on my car, and when I was parked in the high school one day, like, someone like actually took the time to like scrape the Bernie bumper sticker off my car.
Wow,
So-
I guess that makes sense. That's rural Oregon.
Exactly. So, and what I ended up doing is next time I went to a Bernie rally, I got like one of those big Bernie signs, and I put it in the back seat of my car, so it was facing out the rear view window, so that they'd have to like break my window to remove the sign.
And nobody did that.
No, no one did that. There would have been people crazy enough to do it. They probably just didn't notice. And so yeah, that's really just what was getting me into it. Is one of my teachers went to me one day and they're like, hey, like, why aren't you thinking about politics? It's something you're really good at. You keep getting like A's in your civics classes, and like in high school I did not try, and I don't really try that much in college either. But high school I tried even less, but I was constantly, getting A's and getting involved in my civics and world history classes and stuff. And they're like, hey, you're just naturally really good at this. Like, is it something you've ever thought about? And I was like, oh, no, not really. So I went home and I went to my mom and I was like, hey, Mom, like, what do you think of me being a politician someday? And she went like, are you high? Like, why would you do that?
Good question.
Yeah, basically.
That is a valid question.
And so I was like, oh, well, maybe,
That's
maybe not.
something- That's
So-
something I have to ask you a lot, too.
Yeah, probably. But no, I just got really involved then. I was like, you know what, I'll be a political science major for a term and just see if it works for me, and it did. So here I am.
Wow. I mean, that pivot point was in your junior year and you're a senior now?
Yeah, about junior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's a while back.
Yeah, a while back, and
Okay.
then yeah, I went to college and started studying political science, and I just loved it.
Yeah. Do you see him that way, Haley? I mean, do you see him as a budding...
Politician.
I can
Politician.
easily picture him in that kind of a position. It's
I noticed-
very articulate, which is
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
He
It's
lies
needed.
to us all the time. So,
Does
I
he?
mean, yeah, it's,
He
it's
does?
perfect.
Not only to you, Aiden.
Just me. Great.
Well, it's a Saturday and he's wearing a tie.
I know.
That's how you know this man means business. All right, he's
He's
on
already
top of
yeah.
it all the time.
What can I say? I like dressing nice.
He does look nice though.
He does look nice.
He came in yesterday to the pool wearing almost the identical outfit,
Seriously.
just palette swapped.
Yeah, basically.
What do you
Different
mean? The color,
Yeah.
the color coordination was...
So
Yeah, I was wearing the blue shirt and the black tie, and now I'm wearing the kind of bluish tie with the black shirt. So yeah, I guess color swapped.
Wow.
same thing.
I don't have enough like nice clothes to change it up and
Well, I'll
swap
take you nice
things
clothes
around.
shopping. I like shopping for nice clothes.
Yeah.
I tried taking Aiden a few times. He never likes it.
Oh, it's
See, I
terrible.
hate shopping unless I'm with friends because that's what makes it tolerable.
Ah.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your favorite clothier? I mean, is there a place you go? I don't know. Like,
Costco.
Not
Yeah.
Costco.
Costco.
H&M is a place I go a lot. Because, I'm kind of a slimmer dude, so finding, slim clothing is just easier at places like H&M.
Are you being paid to say that? We
Yeah.
should be at least. We should be paid to say
Well,
that.
we're,
Not paid to say that.
You know,
Hint,
as
Let's call him right now.
hint,
You know.
H&M, like maybe some sponsorship, but
Can you endorse us, please?
but no, mostly I go just like thrift stores and stuff like that, and just see like what I can find for pretty cheap. And if I then need to get something a little nicer for any sort of event, like something I just don't find, then yeah, I go to like H&M or I've gone to Men's Warehouse a few times, stuff like that.
yeah.
When was the last time that you dressed up real nice and fancy?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know, I have the feeling that I did it. Oh, I know. why I dressed up nice. I was in a little movie that was directed by a student at Mount Hood Community College, and I had to audition for the role, and then I had to learn my lines, and so I was in the script described as the suited man.
Ooh.
Yeah,
The
so I had to wear a
mysterious
suit.
gentleman.
Now, while we were on set, and it was out in a farm field near Ridgefield, Minnesota, Ridgefield, Washington, and it was a gray day, and we were sitting out in this field. There was a table and chair. It turned out I was the devil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a fun role to play. So
It was
The
cool.
suited man.
The suited man.
Just
If
happens to
you
be the
say
devil.
it slow enough, it sounds like Satan. Ah.
Wow, do you
it all
think-
comes together.
Wow, that is really a kind of a brilliant insight. I wonder if that's even more
Cue an
brilliant.
X-Files soundtrack.
Is that more brilliant than the director knew, or did he actually mean to have suited man sort of sound like Satan? I don't know.
That is an interesting thing. Would it have changed your acting or your role or anything like that if you knew from the beginning that you were the devil?
Well, what I did know was that I was welcoming someone or greeting someone into purgatory, someone who had killed themselves.
Oh.
So whoever I was, and given the dialogue that I had, I knew I wasn't nice.
Okay.
I knew I wasn't a nice guy. I just didn't know that I was the devil, and even after he told me I was the devil, I didn't really change the way I played the role.
Mm-hmm.
I just was pretty severe. You know, I can sound severe anyway, so I just really played on that and talked like this. You know?
I don't know like what kind
That
of
was
movie you were
impressive.
in, but it really just I think depends on the role. So like
Yeah.
for example, I know Aiden hasn't seen the Harry Potter franchise, but
Hold on. I've seen one Harry Potter movie, and it was the very last one. So, I was introduced to all the characters, and then it all got wrapped up real nicely for me, and I didn't have to go through all the bullshit drama of people dying and all that nonsense.
oh, most
Instead-
people died in that last movie. But
Did they?
yeah, that's when the most people died.
I
But
wasn't really paying attention.
So are you guys, Haley, are you a
You're a
fan?
disgrace.
Are you,
What?
are you a fan of Harry Potter? Because I was at a dinner thing last night and we talked about it. I don't know none of those movies, and I didn't read the books either.
No,
I
it's a little out of your era.
yeah.
Well, I guess that's true. I mean,
when I was a kid, that's when they were popular.
okay.
Yeah.
So I read them all, and I loved them. As
I
a kid.
loved the books, and then the movies were pretty good too.
Movies
but,
were good.
I just know that one of the actors, Alan Rickman, who played Severus Snape, yeah, I know, rest in peace. But
True.
he talked to J.K. Rowling before he filmed the first movie, and he was the only one who knew how the entire series would go because his character goes through a real like arc through the story of Harry Potter, and so he was able to kind of play on some of those, small things about his character that anyone but J.K. Rowling didn't even know at the time, and that looking back at his acting and stuff, you can really see that. So I think it does really depend on the role. Sometimes
You need
it
to know
is,
information.
yeah, sometimes it's nice to know the twist so that you can subtly change how you act towards your other co-stars, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's better to keep it a twist as well for yourself.
I don't know if you guys know this about Willis, but he has acted, and I know this from poolside conversations, and he's big into improv,
Oh yeah.
which is going to really help him.
Oh, definitely. Improv just, really helps you be able to articulate on the spot and get your thoughts in order and all of that, which for being in politics and, having to later participate maybe in debates and things like that, having that experience in improv is really going to help.
I have a clip of me in my movie, and I'm going to see if I can play it here.
I actually did want to see this.
Okay, well, this is just...
Whoa.
To be with me here
See, I say left, he committed suicide.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
How unfortunate, is what he says. It's just, I'm torturing this guy,
Right.
you know, like, and then he hears his mother say, I love you.
You gave that up to be with me. Here. Were you happy with your choice?
This is a different take of the same thing.
Were you happy before you left?
But you can see I'm wearing a suit.
Yeah. You look very dapper. So.
Thank you. Thank
But you do look very menacing as well. Like sometimes
was-
that like
I'm-
that black and white suit can really
Yeah.
You're wearing it. It's
Make-
not wearing you.
make someone look
Ooh.
powerful, and
I'm quoting somebody.
that can either be good or bad. And you really played that kind of like evil side of the
I know,
powerfulness.
and that's the great thing about acting. And what was cool about the interaction with the fellow who played the condemned suicide victim, if I guess victims were there, was that our eye contact really fueled the nastiness in me because he was so pleading that he realized he'd made a horrible mistake. And now he's forever condemned and he's horrified and I am pitiless. But that's acting. You know, how you can take the emotion of the moment and it fuels how you respond. And that's a beautiful chemistry that happens,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know?
I haven't done much acting, so I can't super relate on that. However, this podcast has
Yes.
definitely been an interesting way of developing that chemistry, I think.
You know, Haley said something a few moments ago, and it kind of got lost. And I'm wondering if you remember what it was, because I don't want you to be somehow, you know, overpowered by all the testosterone in the room.
I'm used to it, honestly. I grew up in a family with mostly men.
Yeah.
And with all my brother's friends, we're always in the
So you handled yourself very well in this
Yeah.
kind of situation.
This is very comfortable to me.
Ah,
It'd
very
be
good.
very uncomfortable if it was full of women, actually.
Is that right?
Strange. Yeah, I have a strong association with, like, distrust in women, which is a whole nother story.
Oh, right. I suppose it is.
Yeah.
But okay, well,
I
let's.
think I said, was it about the suit?
Yeah.
The, you're wearing it, it's not wearing you. Like,
Okay. Could you unpack that a little bit? I mean, you mean it enhanced me? It wasn't that I got
It wasn't-
lost in it
yes.
somehow?
Yeah, I wasn't, like, taking you over. You were, like, we were talking about how intimidating you were coming across.
Yeah.
Like, how it worked, your acting.
Right.
And we were talking about your outfit and those two together, and I was just making the point, like, you were taking charge of your role and not letting the suit.
Do you hear that, guys? I mean, that's a
Overpower
movie
you.
review. That's a review of
I think
my
so.
acting by someone who knows. Silence.
So, I guess my experiment that I want to try right now,
All right.
if you're willing,
Well,
is how try to have that same power wearing what you're wearing now.
I guess it would have to, you know, I could recite some lines because I know a number of different monologues,
Right.
and I guess I could do that, but, you know,
A lot of people listen to this podcast for some ASMR.
what is
Really?
ASMR?
I have no idea what it stands for.
Y'all-
It's an acronym or
no.
something?
I'm pretty sure it's an acronym. As far as my understanding of what ASMR is,
ASMR.
are is not like music, but rather just very calming.
Whispering closely to the
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, someone actually told Aiden that this podcast is calming.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've listened to it. I agree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we do that, I got a trivia question.
Ooh.
Okay.
Trivia.
All right.
30-minute trivia.
Yeah, this is from Harry Potter, and I've not seen the series. But at dinner last night, these people talked about Harry Potter, and I brought up the elf, which turns out to be a house elf.
House elf.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dobby.
Dobby, the house elf, died. And my question to you guys,
spoiler
because you're
alert.
experts, is how did
Okay. It's
Dobby?
It's been out a while.
How did Dobby die?
So he died saving Harry and the gang. So I don't know like how, y'all probably don't know as much about Harry Potter, but house elves in this version can kind of like teleport and teleport people with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Apparates.
apparate, that's the word for it.
Apparate?
Apparate. Yeah, there's some weird words in Harry Potter.
Okay.
So teleport. Gotcha.
And so Harry and the gang were kind of trapped in, was it Bellatrix Lestrange's house? Or I know she was there.
I was in a
name?
house and she was there and she threw a
It
knife
might have been,
while
I
they
think
were
it was,
operating.
yeah, I think,
I'm sort of glad, Aiden,
And
that you don't know any more than I do. So go ahead.
No idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you guys are speaking a foreign language.
as he's trying to
Completely.
save them by like kind of coming in and teleporting all of them out, Bellatrix Lestrange just kind of like throws a knife
Hold
and
on.
it hits him as right
Stop.
before they go.
Say that name
Oh no!
again.
Aiden's stressing out.
Bellatrix-
Yeah, what else is
We'll
new?
go slower.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Lestrange.
She's an evil woman.
That's a person.
Yes.
Bellatrix
Yes.
Lestrange.
And she's my
Yes.
favorite character.
She's a really great character, and she's played
Okay.
by what's
Helena something.
Yeah, she's one of Tim Burton's wives, right?
She's I guess. I don't know.
Does he have multiple? Is that what's going on here?
I think he's had multiple.
He's had multiple.
I don't know. Yeah, I could be wrong
Amazing
there.
actress.
But she's really good. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Okay, but we're talking about Dobby dying now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they
However that
Harry,
happens.
Hermione, and Ron and other people. I
It
feel like,
was
as well as
Jenny and the Wand Maker.
The Wand
and-
Maker.
just a bunch of
Yeah,
a
duh.
bunch of great people that we're rooting for are
All the good guys.
They're good
apparating
people.
or
Porting.
teleporting.
Teleport.
Sorry, that's not the actual word they use in the book. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they
yeah.
teleport to us. They're trying to teleport somewhere safe and get out and escape. Bellatrix, her last thing that she does to try to stop them is just throw a knife into this I don't know, space that they're teleporting in. So the
Kinda like
knife
this
goes.
wormhole.
Oh,
Yeah.
like cut it
Yeah.
all up and they'd all die from some horrible accident.
Yeah, type thing, but it just
Yeah.
hit Dobby in like the
Oh!
stomach. Yeah. And he's a house elf, so he's small, and getting hit by a knife is, I mean, it always sucks, but it sucks
Especially-
more
Yeah, I
when
don't
you're
know
3 feet
how many-
tall.
Yeah.
Especially when you're teleporting, I would imagine. That makes it even more stressful.
It's unpredictable what's going to happen. It could hit anybody.
Well,
So-
yeah, because there's a time and space continuum that's been and somehow disrupted, no doubt.
And so, yeah, they land in the safe location, which is a beach, and then that's how the 7th movie ends, is him dying in Harry's arms.
It's
Yeah.
really sad.
Wait,
It's
I thought
really
this.
sad. You watch, so the
Part
7th
one.
movie was split into 2 movies for some
Okay.
reason, but
Money.
7 part 1.
Money is the reason.
Yeah, money might be the reason. It also
Yeah.
could be that
Of
the
course it's the
7th book was like 1,200 pages long,
Yeah.
but
Can't relate.
At least he died a free elf.
yeah, at least he died a free elf.
And that
Great
was a
face.
good thing. What, you mean he was somehow a prisoner elf?
So
Yeah, was he not
house,
already?
house elves are slaves.
We all thought
so
he-
yeah,
oh,
house
okay.
elves are slaves in the Harry Potter universe, and the only way they can not be slaves is if their owner gives them an article of clothing.
Well, that seems a simple
Yeah,
fix.
that's pretty easy.
Well,
Yeah.
they're supposed to wear like rags if they're slaves, and then if the owner gives them an article of clothing, it means that they are no longer slaves. They don't have to wear rags anymore.
Yeah.
And so Harry snuck one of like the owner's socks into something that Dobby, like the owner gave Dobby so that he could be a free elf, and the owner was not happy with Harry.
Who is the owner?
Draco Malfoy's dad.
Who the
Lucius.
hell
Lucius
is-
Malfoy.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
And you guys know those names, even though I don't know in what language Draco Malfoy would be a name, but you guys have it down.
Oh, Draco's another good character. Okay,
I
we
love
could go
Draco.
on forever.
Yeah, we
on it,
could
but
go on
won't-
forever about
won't-
Harry
we won't
Potter.
do
But
that.
I got a
Nice.
monologue I'm gonna do for you guys because
Yeah, let's see the
Let's do
power
it.
behind
Yes.
the monologue. Should we bring this closer?
well, you
Do we
don't
need to
have
write it
I mean,
right
I
in?
could project. Down I sit, high, high. I take a piece of toast off of Grace's plate, and she goes, "Help yourself." Help myself. I should help myself to half a piece of toast. They're 4 slices for a quarter. I should have a nickel. Every time we go to the game, I pop for coffee, cigarettes, a sweet roll. Never say a word. Hey, Bobby, see who wants what? Huh? a fucking roast beef sandwich. Am I right? Oh shit! Anyway, that's it. Like,
That's very good.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish
Alright.
you could see also the facial
Well, it's like
expressions.
it's from a play called American Buffalo by David Mamet, and all of the characters in Mamet plays are horrendously bad human beings, and that character is one of them.
A lot of characters in just a lot of plays are
Yeah,
horrendously
yeah,
bad
yeah,
human
yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
He's, they're greedy, insecure, mainly stupid individuals who've convinced themselves that they're smart.
I feel like I'm being called out right now. I don't know if I appreciate that. But, do you think that most people are inherently like that? Do you think
No, I do not
inside?
think so. No, I most certainly don't.
Here we
You
go.
think-
This
Haley's- Oh.
Haley's nodding.
Oh, you're being
You
disagreeable.
heard Aiden's question. Haley,
Now let's hear
are you
Haley's
saying-
answer.
Yeah.
No, this is a suggestion I had actually that I
Okay.
told Aiden that I wanted you guys to talk about actually.
Oh,
Oh.
Is
Much
the-
better than my question, probably.
we'll see.
It relates to when we're talking about like psychology and developmental growth in humans.
Yeah.
Psychologists have like different theories and just ideas about how we develop as people psychologically. And one
Right.
of the questions is, are we born mostly good, like mostly prone to be good, mostly prone to be bad, or some mix of both or neither, like blank slate? So that's the
Ooh.
question.
And-
Like, which one do you think?
Well, how would you answer that?
I'd want to know more about, like, there's been a lot of experiments with, like, infants, and it seems like they have some kind of idea or compass, moral compass when it comes
Towards
to...
empathy,
Yeah,
they
empathy.
can understand
can
other people are
yeah.
suffering and try to mitigate it. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, it's really hard.
Usually they cause the suffering.
Well,
That's for you, Aiden.
that's-
To me, they make a lot of people happy. But anyway, they, like, would do some crazy experiments with, stuffed animals, and they'd have one stuffed animal be, like, mean to the other or uncooperative.
oh yeah.
And then later they would ask them to pick between the two, and they'd, like, most often choose the one that was, like, cooperative.
The nice stuffed animal was the one they liked the most, and so by extension that means that they themselves identify with goodness.
Yeah, but they also showed a lot of, like, there were other experiments done with testing, like, selfishness, and self-serving, like, tendencies, and they were also being shown to be, like, bad. I don't know how we want to define good and bad, but
Yeah.
there's, like, arguments.
But it does suggest an inherent goodness.
Yeah, we've got some time. Or we could try this for the next episode.
Well,
Get the
we're
people
now,
to actually listen.
we are now at 38 minutes on what's typically been a 40, 41, 42 minute podcast. And I guess the question is, do we want to try to wrap up the concept of what anybody here thinks of humanity, or
Inherent morals.
yeah,
That's a
deep.
heavy topic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
we
a
should
heavy
leave-
topic to wrap up in like 2 minutes.
Maybe we should leave them with the question, and then on the next, like, ponder it, ask them to ponder it, think about it, what they think it
well, you've thought of it,
is. And then,
haven't you?
yeah, a bit, but I took a class and we talked about it, but it was a while ago, so,
So you don't remember? Well, you have opinions.
yeah.
I bet we all do.
Oh yeah.
Should we talk about next one?
Well, yeah.
If that's what it takes to get people to listen to our podcast.
Well,
What has not been working so far?
I don't know why we haven't really tried to market this. And maybe we're getting some viewers that we don't know about, I suppose.
Let me check the SoundCloud.
Oh my God, you can tell like instantly whether we have numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see how
Wow.
many views we've had.
That's kind of scary.
It-
Can you
it-
tell
oh
if they
God.
actually
Oh God.
listen to the whole thing?
No, no. No! Ad. Alright.
It's not happening.
Fucking ad.
I accidentally clicked on an ad.
Okay. Well, but does that mean that you actually saw the number and it's embarrassingly low
No,
for
it's...
our podcast?
Oh, God.
I guess the decision is sort of being made for us because if we were going about 40 minutes, 41, 42 minutes, we're already there. So what we could say is stay tuned for the next episode. If you guys are able to stick around,
Oh yeah.
we could have the discussion of moral, what would be the
Moral
umbrella term?
Inherent morals
Moral
of
development,
humanity.
yeah.
Whether or
Yeah.
not we are good, born to be good, or... God, SoundCloud sucks.
And we could look at the import of religion in influencing the goodness of humans, or whether it's deeper than something like religion, or even what our parents teach us. I guess that's a good topic. So why don't we, you
Wrap
and I,
this up.
Aiden, wrap it up, yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Inherently Human episode 6. 6.
Inherently Human episode 6.
I'm Aiden DeBoard.
Jim Newman.
Willis Holman.
Haley Sage.
And
Thanks
that's
for
about it.
listening.
Yeah.
We invite you to listen to episode 7 when we resolve the issue of human morality.